And it's 14 minutes before 9 on 783 ABC Alice Springs. On Friday, CLP candidate for Lingiari Leo Abbott spoke for the very first time since the brouhaha evolved over his the calls by the leader of the Country Liberal Party, Terry Mills, to disendorse him. He started by having a conversation with me. He started by reading a statement about what took place.
Yes, thank you for inviting me into the studio. I just want to make a statement. I want to make it perfectly and plainly clear that despite hearsay created from commentary by others, I have never and would never hit a woman in my life. Let it be known that neither do I drink alcohol or take drugs. There were a number of errors reported in the media at the time, including reports on violent incidents that were not about me. I have never ever been convicted of assault. I have never been charged with assault. I have never been questioned by police regarding assault. Domestic violence orders are made by magistrates on receipt of a written complaint by an individual or police. Just because the word domestic violence is used does not mean that there was domestic violence. Let me be clear. A domestic violence order does not mean you have conducted violence to people or individuals. It is simply an order not to go near someone and does not imply you have conducted an act of assault. People should know that in case of my technical breach, the magistrate heard I was reaching out to her, my ex-partner, after the loss of a child, and that I was not known to police. The magistrate said, I emphasise, that the texts and emails were no threats, no abuse, no demonising of the protected person. The magistrate went further, declaring that I am of good character, saying I am not going to record a conviction. That's despite what the Northern Territory News reported on 13th of August 2010. I was handed a $500 good behaviour bond for 9 months, payable only if I broke the bond. This was clearly different than Terry Mills' statement that I had been fined. People should know that when I first was interested in being a candidate for Country Liberals, I sat down with President Rick Satter and Michael Jones, then Chair of Alice Springs Branch. I informed them both of my domestic violence order and a recent court case relating to the technical breach for sending my ex-partner text messages and emails. They asked many questions and the opportunity to ask many more. Rick Satter took the recommendation to Management Committee, and on his recommendation I was pre-selected as a joint candidate with Wayne Connop. When it became known only one could run, I presented to Central Council and spoke and took questions regarding myself. I openly discussed my domestic violence order with anyone who was interested. During the election campaign, for reasons unknown to myself, Terry Mills chose to demonise me and sought my disendorsement from the party. Terry's comments, implied or otherwise, were hurtful and damaged my name in the community and that of my families. I have received legal advice as it relates to defamation and will be pursuing this avenue in an effort to clear my name and my family's name. I want to reiterate that I have no problems with the Country Liberals membership who have judged me on facts rather than innuendo. I want to thank those 5 in the parliamentary wing who have supported me. There is only a small minority in the party that wanted me disendorsed. The party is not broken. Now, I say again, the party is not broken. It does worry me that Terry Mills and a few of his loyal supporters and a couple of party members were happy to discard me as political fodder due to my geographical dislocation outside of Darwin and, I believe, for the colour of my skin. The party is better than that, and I wait for Mr Mills to emphatically apologise to me in public, along with those who have destroyed my reputation.
Leo Abbott, thank you for sharing that statement with us today. Given the circumstances that you've just outlined just now, were you surprised by Terry Mills' move to disendorse you?
It certainly came out of the blue.
Were you prepared for this personal issue to come to the fore?
Oh, look, the thing is, when you get into politics, your life is going to be scrutinised. So that's all part and parcel of politics. I think this is why a lot of people don't, even though they might be passionate in regards to dealing with the issues in the territory and so on, don't want to run for politics because they don't want to be, thrown around all over the place like I have.
What was going through your mind in that last week of the election campaign when all of this was being discussed very publicly?
Look, the thing that was going through my mind was I didn't want any disruptions for my campaign. Leo Abbott just went out there and tried to get as many people to vote for him as possible, and that's what I was doing.
You were out in remote communities in that last week of the election. What was the reaction from voters?
I think the numbers says it all at the end of the day. One thing I can really say is that in the last week, especially with the media attention on myself, with the, and the mudslinging against myself, I think really I can stand proud now. In hindsight, I look at this as, Lingiari has been a safe Labor seat for all those years, and I'm really proud to say that it's a marginal seat now. Look, the thing was for me is to get out there, do the work, talk to the people, talk about the issues, and that's what I was doing. And that's what I was doing right through my campaign.
It's clear you felt very much attacked. Do you think it ruined your election chances?
I think in the last week, yes. I think so. But then again, it comes down, I'll just say again that I have sought legal advice, and I am going down that road.
Allegations have been made that the leader of the CLP, Terry Mills, wanted to disendorse you as a moral stand so he could attack Damien Hale in the seat of Solomon. Is that your assessment of the situation?
Look, I think if everybody was to look back at what's really happened now in the last few weeks and what happened in the last week of the campaign, it just answers everything.
Leo Abbott with me this morning. The last week of the election campaign, Leo Abbott, we tried to call you a number of times. You didn't return any calls from ABC Radio. Why was this? Running for public office, obviously your constituents wanted to hear from you, hear what you had to say and where you were going with the election campaign.
The thing is, like I said before to some other people that were asking me why didn't I get on radio, but then again, the Lingiari is not covered with phone coverage all over, and Leo Abbott was out there in the remote polling booths.